You're sitting on the couch, your dog is next to you, and at some point, they look up. You look down, your eyes meet, and you feel something you've never been able to explain, a warmth, a stillness, a sense that something just passed between you. Most people would call that a feeling, a moment, something sentimental. In 2024, a team of Chinese neuroscientists proved it's none of those things. It's an electrical event. When you look at your dog, your brain waves start to synchronize, not metaphorically, physically. Two separate nervous systems, across two separate species, locking into the exact same rhythm. In our last video, we showed you that your dog replays you in their dreams, that during REM sleep, the neurons that fired while they were with you fire again, in sequence, from memory. But that's what happens when their eyes are closed. What happens when they're open? What happens during those long, quiet moments when your dog is just looking at you? The answer, it turns out, is far more extraordinary than anyone expected, because it's not just memory, it's a live connection. In September 2024, researchers at the Chinese Academy of Sciences published a paper in the journal Advanced Science that had never been attempted before. They paired 10 humans with 10 beagle dogs, put EEG electrodes on both simultaneously, and measured their brain activity in real time. The human wore a 32-channel electrode cap, standard clinical-grade equipment. The dog wore a custom-built 10-channel array, secured with a stretchy snood and conductive paste to bypass the fur. No sedation, no restraint. The dog was fully awake, fully comfortable, and fully free to look away at any time. They measured 3 conditions. First, the human and the dog in separate rooms. Second, in the same room, but with a barrier preventing eye contact. Third, face-to-face, looking at each other. When they were apart, the two brains operated independently. Random noise, 2 separate electrical systems with no relationship to each other. When they made eye contact, the frontal lobes of both brains started oscillating in the same rhythm. Not roughly, precisely, the same frequency, the same phase, at the same time. This is called interbrain neural coupling. It had only ever been documented between 2 humans, never between 2 species. Your dog isn't just gazing at you. Its brain is literally tuning into yours. But the researchers didn't stop there, because they noticed something unexpected about which parts of the brain were coupling and what triggered them. When the human and dog made eye contact, only eye contact, no touching. It was the frontal lobes that synchronized, the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for attention, intention reading, and social cognition. When the human petted the dog without making eye contact, a completely different region synchronized. The parietal lobes, the part of the brain that processes physical awareness and spatial integration. 2 different interactions, 2 different brain regions, 2 different kinds of connection. Eye contact connects your thoughts, touch connects your bodies. But here's what they found when you do both at the same time. The coupling didn't just add up, it multiplied. The combined effect, gazing while petting, produced a whole brain synchronization that was far greater than the sum of its parts. Not double, synergistic, a neural lock-in that turned 2 nervous systems into one momentary circuit. This is the strongest interspecies neural connection ever recorded. The experiment ran for 5 consecutive days. The same human, the same dog, same protocol each day. And what the researchers tracked was how the coupling changed over time. On day 1, with a stranger, the synchronization was present but weak, a faint signal buried in noise. By day 5, the phase locking between the 2 brains had increased dramatically. The correlation coefficient, the mathematical measure of how tightly the 2 rhythms align, was massively higher than baseline. They called this the familiarity multiplier. Your dog doesn't just sync with any human, it syncs with you. And the longer you've been together, the deeper the sync goes. Think about that. Every morning you spend together, every evening on the couch, every walk, every quiet moment where your dog looks up and you look down, each one of those is literally tuning the connection tighter. Now here's the part that challenges the romantic version of the story, because the synchronization isn't equal. The researchers used a mathematical tool called the phase slope index to determine which direction the information was flowing. Who was initiating the rhythm? Was it the human adapting to the dog, or the dog adapting to the human? The answer was clear. The human brain leads, the dog's brain follows. Your brain sets the electrical rhythm. Your dog's brain detects that rhythm and adjusts its own neural oscillations to match. You are the broadcaster, your dog is the receiver. And this isn't just true for brain waves. In 2019, researchers at Linköping University in Sweden analyzed hair samples from 58 dog owner pairs. Hair absorbs cortisol, the stress hormone, over months, and they found a statistically significant correlation. The owner's long-term cortisol levels predicted the dog's, not the other way around. The dog mirrors you, chemically, electrically, over hours and over months. Your dog is not just your companion, it's your physiological follower. Its nervous system is calibrated to yours. But why dogs? Why not any other animal? The answer lies in 30,000 years of evolutionary engineering. In 2015, researchers at Asabu University in Japan discovered the mechanism that started it all. When a human and a dog make sustained eye contact, both brains release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. The oxytocin makes the dog gaze longer. The longer gaze triggers more oxytocin in the human, which makes the human gaze back, a self-amplifying feedback loop. They tested wolves, hand-reared wolves, wolves that had known humans since birth. The wolves completely failed to enter the loop. No prolonged gaze, no oxytocin surge, nothing. This neurochemical handshake was forged exclusively during domestication. Wolves don't have it. Cats don't have it. Only dogs. And the hardware evolved to match. A 2025 study from Harvard's Canine Brains Project compared the brains of 72 modern dog breeds against 13 ancient pre-modern lineages. The result overturned a long-held assumption. Domestication didn't shrink the dog's brain, it upgraded it. Modern breeds, the ones bred for close human cooperation over the last 200 years, show significant expansion of the neocortex, the higher-order thinking regions, the regions you need to read social cues, maintain joint attention, and lock into another brain's rhythm. Ancient breeds retained larger amygdalas, the fear center, better for survival, worse for synchronization. Dogs didn't just learn to live with us. Their brains were physically rebuilt to sync with ours. So here's a question people are starting to ask. What about FaceTime? What about pet cameras? What about all those apps that let you video call your dog while you're at work? The neurophysiology suggests a hard limit. Human-to-human video calls already degrade neural coupling. That's part of why Zoom meetings feel exhausting. Your brain can't fully lock onto micro-expressions through a 2D latency-delayed screen. For dogs, it's worse. The frontal lobe coupling requires precise microsecond timing from real-time visual input. A screen delays that. The parietal coupling requires physical contact. A screen eliminates that entirely. And here's the part most people forget. Dogs don't just read your eyes. They read your smell, your spatial presence, the biochemical signals your skin is emitting. Remove all of that, and the coupling collapses. A video call isn't connection. It's a photograph of connection. The neural link requires your actual, physical presence. And finally, the finding that nobody expected. The same 2024 study from the Chinese Academy of Sciences included a second experiment that reads like science fiction. They used CRISPR gene editing to create dogs with a mutation in a gene called Shank3. In humans, this mutation is one of the primary genetic drivers of autism spectrum disorder. It disrupts the scaffold proteins at neural synapses, leading to severe social deficits. The Shank3 mutant dogs couldn't sync. They avoided eye contact. They showed no interest in social interaction, and their EEG readings showed zero interbrain coupling with humans. Then the researchers did something radical. They gave the dogs a single microdose of LSD, 7.5 micrograms per kilogram of body weight, sub-hallucinogenic, sub-perceptual, barely enough to register, and it worked. The mutant dogs looked at humans, they engaged socially, and their brain waves locked into synchronization for the first time in their lives. One dose, one moment, and the connection switched on. The mechanism, LSD, activates serotonin 2A receptors, which are densely concentrated in the prefrontal cortex. That activation appears to force rapid synaptic plasticity, overriding the structural deficit and reconnecting the social attention networks the mutation had severed. Dogs are now being positioned as vital biological models for psychedelic-assisted therapy in human autism. So here's what we now know. In total, for tens of thousands of years, we selected dogs not for speed or strength or teeth, but for the ability to look at us and understand. And somewhere in that selection, their brains evolved a capability that exists in no other species on Earth, the ability to electrically synchronize with a human mind. When you look into your dog's eyes, something invisible happens. Oxytocin floods both of your brains. Your neural oscillations align. Your frontal lobes lock in. And for a moment, a real, measurable, scientific moment, two nervous systems, separated by 30,000 years of evolutionary divergence, operate as one. The lead researcher, Professor Zhang, put it this way: brains don't work alone. They form an interconnected system with other brains. Your dog isn't just looking at you, it's becoming part of your system. Electrically, chemically, rhythmically. And the longer you've been together, the deeper the merge goes. If this changed how you see those quiet moments when your dog just looks at you, subscribe and leave a comment. How long have you and your dog been together? I'd love to hear. Thank you for being here. Every video we make is built on real research, real papers, real science. If you want to support the work, the best thing you can do is share this with someone who loves their dog. See you in the next one.